I was like this. Oh, 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 oh.
Oh, come on.
But that's what I do backstage to get myself pumped up.
It's the Krisha and Frank show.
Hi.
She's Krisha.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Frank. Because,
Wait, yeah.
yeah, we were getting the podcast porch ready, and it's a little, I mean, yes, the sun is, it's winter.
And it's
Look at you.
37 degrees outside. But it's nice. It actually feels good.
Well, I've got on my thermal undershirt and my thermal under socks,
Yeah.
so I'm fine.
I'm good.
You know when I was not fine?
When?
Is when you had me running around the house looking for a blanket. Not because you're cold. No, to block the sun.
Yeah.
So neighbor Nancy.
We're fancy.
Yeah, it's got this big blanket.
We're
hanging
like a
up.
college dorm room. You hang a blanket over your window.
That's where I got that from. I took it off the wall of Megan's room.
There you go.
It's been there for like 15 years or 18 years, and my wife and I said, we got to take that down someday. We got to take that down someday.
Well-
and then Krisha's like, do you have an extra blanket? I'm like, yes!
Yes.
And I ran upstairs, ripped it off the
Yes,
wall.
I do.
But what was this thing, this move?
It's like when I'm waiting backstage to go on for one number, Kara is on the other side of the stage, and I look at her, and I always do something stupid. And it's usually like,
You're not going to believe how that reminds me of an opera.
okay,
Let me do the plugs.
Okay.
And then I'm going to tell you how I saw basically that move
right.
at an opera or rehearsal. Well, not just rehearsal. Okay. So first of all, today's show is brought to you by Steve's Tree Service. We'll be telling you more about them, and that's why you can see so much stuff behind me. It's unbelievable. I'm not used to seeing Wayne's house ever.
That's weird.
And also, we've got the Audible program, where you can get a great trial run through using, I don't even know what I'm talking about, through using our code Krisha and Frank.
audibletrial.com/Krisha and Frank.
Get a 30-day trial at no charge for the 30 days. They'll start charging you on day 31. But during that
is this
time,
properly placed? It's driving me crazy. Yeah.
you know, it's probably not.
Okay.
Thank you, Krisha.
You're welcome.
But during that time of the 30 days, you can download and keep a book forever,
Forever
an
and ever.
audiobook, or whatever it is you choose to get from the premium collection at Audible.
So check them out.
We're on the old school social media program platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And that's at Krisha and Frank on all of them.
Yeah, my son-in-law is he bought us an ad on a Facebook ad.
Thanks.
So
That's
we're trying to
awesome.
drive up those Facebook likes. And most importantly for me personally is the YouTube subscriptions, because that's where we can make a little money. Last time I checked, we were at 370 YouTube subscriptions.
I will say that we have more YouTube subscribers than Jeff Goldblum's contortionist wife.
Well, so you can subscribe to her too and help her out.
She
because
does a stretching program.
She
and
bends over backwards for you.
Don't subscribe to her. Subscribe to us.
Both. I don't care. But anyway, yes, please do hit that subscribe button, because when we get to 1,000, we can start making literal pennies
It'd be
from
cool.
the Google empire.
Yeah. Hi,
All right.
Frank.
Hi, Krisha. So you did the thing.
Yeah.
And I laughed because there was a time when I used to go to a lot of the there's a time when there were shows, and I used to go to a lot of the Knoxville Opera rehearsals with the camera, and we would record fun backstage stuff. You may have watched one or two of those.
Yeah.
Because there
I
was
was
one.
part of one of them.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, there was one where it was Mary Queen of Scots, as I recall. And my friend Shelley, Rochelle Bard, who is a lovely, beautiful soprano, and my other darling girlfriend, Catherine Daniel.
Yes.
Catherine Daniel is the one who will go up on stage at the Rossini Festival and go, oh, she's got this mezzo-soprano voice. Oh, look, there's my boyfriend, Frank Murphy, and his wife.
That's
And then when
awesome.
she and Jerry were both in an opera, she wrote a note to Jerry, Catherine Daniel said, yes, I'll sing at your funeral. Thanks for letting me steal your husband. You know.
That's awesome.
But all in on the joke. All right, so Rochelle, Catherine's out there singing. Catherine's playing Queen Elizabeth. We're at the rehearsal. Shelley is Mary Queen of Scots, about to make her entrance with her ladies in waiting. And as they're in the
Wing.
what would be the shoot, and I asked her this. I said, are you going to do that in the Tennessee Theater in full costume? She says, absolutely. This is how we get psyched. And what are they doing?
Yeah.
The same as you do at Sweet Fanny.
Yeah.
They're doing it at the Tennessee Theater for high opera.
I've always done it. I've always done something side of the stage before an entrance, because like that's getting the energy out and getting and going in. And you're going in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like going into battle, but
It's
not.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm glad you did it for this show, because now that means you're ready.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
And so last week we talked about, actually, no, what is it today?
Today's only Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday.
I know.
I'm so tired.
Well, yesterday we wore ourselves out with the chimney show.
That was a lot.
And
it was fun.
After you left, they gave me the bad news about how much it would cost.
Oh.
Because, I mean, they cleaned the chimney as for the bit. That was great. They came,
Right.
they did the cleaning, they did the inspection. It needed it, obviously.
Yeah.
But we found out that this chimney is structurally unsound, that when they built the house 40 years ago, plus, it's over 40, so it's falling apart.
It is. It's on the decline.
We found out that they did a really poor job of constructing the chimney.
Oh.
And if I want to ever have a fire in there, I basically got to drop $5,000 plus to put in a stove and a pipe for safety.
Oh. That's
Plus,
a lot.
There's several $1,000s worth of masonry repair they suggest strongly. They climbed up on the roof and looked at the top of it and said,
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
So
you should get a fire pit.
Yeah, so we're not having fires anytime soon, unless, somebody wants to drop more money via PayPal.
But we had teased my new favorite word that is technically, I don't know if it's an actual word. It's from the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows by John Koenig.
Now, from what I also looked it up, obviously, because that's, me, it's a new-ish word. It was, and we're allowed to make, that's what I love about the English language. It's like the Borg on Star Trek. Mm-hmm. It will assimilate any word or sound that it needs into the language, and will eventually dominate all other languages, because will take all the Chinese words we need, we'll take all the French words we need, we'll just, and we just use them.
Yeah.
So you can make up new words in this language, and sonder, it's like,
It's
S-O-N-D-E-R.
S-O-N-D-E-R, and its original definition aims to fill a hole in language to give a name to emotions that we might all experience but don't yet have a word for.
Okay.
It's a project that he started. It's, again, Obscure Sorrows. It's Obscure Sorrows on Twitter.
Nice.
But sonder is the realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own. Narrated, written, directed, edited, and coined by John Koenig.
Well, you ever see, like, maybe you've done this, I don't know if we've ever done it, where you go with a friend, they do this in movies sometimes, where they, like, drunk mock people in the Holiday movie, for example.
Yeah.
Where they go and they stand there and they make up backstories
Oh, yeah.
for all the other people in the bar, at the party.
Oh, I mean, in one relationship I was in, we would name everyone.
Okay.
We would say, her name's definitely Tina. Mm-hmm. Her name's definitely, he's so mad at her right now. Oh, she's having the best,
So that's an awareness.
You're narrating someone else's life.
Even though you're making it up and you're fictionalizing it, improvising it, at least you're showing an awareness that those people have complex lives, which is what the word sonder means.
Yeah, and it goes further. It says, you are the main character, the protagonist, the star in the center of your own unfolding story. You're surrounded by a supporting cast, but your supporting cast is also their main character of their story.
Yes.
And it says, when your life moves on to the next scene, there's flickers in place, wrapped in a cloud of backstory and inside jokes and characters, strung together with countless other stories you'll never be able to see, that you'll never know exists. And I think what you're saying is we actually do have an awareness that these main character lives
maybe
exist.
we do in a different way. I mean, because part of being in comedy and part of being in improv is you're very much observing everything. Mm-hmm. You may be more observant than others because you want to make jokes.
Right.
The old story about Jerry Seinfeld. The other comedians are like, he could walk across the street to the deli while he's waiting to go on at the comedy club in Hollywood. He could walk across the street and get a sandwich and come back with 5 minutes of new material because he observes everything.
And I think that there's that, it's not necessarily a higher awareness, but it's you make an intent to be engaged in that way. And I think
any one of us could do it if you want to. A lot of us go through life with blinders on and don't pay attention to the wonderful things that are happening right next to us.
Yeah, and I get laughed at a lot because I think I told you when I first started running, I was picking up little caterpillars and I was picking up little earthworms.
Which is weird, but
it's very weird, and I know it is.
Did you make up backstories for the caterpillars?
I mean, but when I saw butterflies floating around the same trail,
I guess technically you did.
In my mind, I'm like, it's the same little guys I see. But I love the idea, and I think you and I were talking about there's a honeycomb there's the iceberg up here, and then there's the honeycomb of life that just exists and expands and expands and expands. But I think when we have those moments, we're like, wow, it's a small world.
I would like to actually, I think of a couple of specific examples that I want to run by you, and as I think we're on the same path here. But we can do that after we take our quick break for
Steve's Tree Service,
because it's halfway through the show. We want to make sure we get. That's when the commercial comes. By the way, you can buy those mid-roll commercials by contacting us, krishaandfrank@gmail.com. Just like Steve and Renee did, because they would watch the show, they would listen to me and you and the radio and all beforehand. And they're excited about being a part of it. They're getting business as a result of being affiliated with us. Rob Howard from Hutch and Howard's like, I've just added you to my list to go-to businesses.
Nice.
Thank you very much, because you support Krisha and Frank. And then we talked about last week about how cleanup is an important part of their task. And I was texting with Steve over the weekend, telling him about, what a great job they did, and still laughing a little bit about crazy old Wayne.
Well, but the great thing is that they can come out and they have someone who actually climbs. They don't bring big equipment in. They have someone that climbs. And you were talking about, and like, now that you can really see the tops of these trees, that's intimidating and crazy.
Yes.
But they're bonded, they're certified, they're insured, all of that. So you don't have to worry when they do show up and they do have somebody climbing about your liability.
And you know how crazy people are nowadays. So when someone actually has 5-star...
I know how crazy people are, or I know how crazy people are.
Both.
Okay.
So when you see a business that actually does have 5-star ratings on on Yelp and on Facebook and Google, they haven't ticked anybody off.
No, not yet.
It was that one nut job.
All it takes is one. But they serve Knox County, Blount County, just all over East Tennessee.
Yep. Sevier, Loudoun, Anderson, and Jefferson. It's really the whole region. And get on the calendar, because things are booking up. In fact, Steve called me from a job the other day.
But you can find them on Facebook, Steve's
That's the
Tree
easiest,
Service.
and I'll link to them on our Facebook page, of course, with this one, or I'll put their number also in the description down below, which I have for you. I can give you the phone number. I just wanted to tell you it's 865-257-6214, and it's on the screen there, 865-257-6214. But so I get a text from Steve saying, "May I please call you?" Because he's very polite. It's like 8:30 in the morning, right, or 8:45. And I'm like, "Yeah, how's it going?" He's like, "Hey, I'm here with one of your fans." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Because my wife and I have been sending business his way. Hutch and Howard's been sending business his way. You and I obviously been sending business his way. So I'm trying to think, who could it be? Is it, Sam Mayer and Lair?
Right,
somebody we know. No, he says, "Here, say hi to Denise."
Who the hell's Denise?
I don't know. Denise King. So I want to say hi to Denise King, because apparently she's like, "I used to listen to you." And he was, it was just...
This goes back to yesterday.
It was sweet.
It goes back to yesterday of those sometimes awkward interactions where people will sometimes in the grocery store look at me and I speak to them and I see it click in their head where they're like, but it's not even that they know who, but that familiarity of voice, and they go, and most of the time I completely ignore it. But I see them, I see the wheels turning of like, am I supposed to know her? How do I know her?
Now, here's the thing with you. There's many ways to know you. By the way, that's the end of the commercial for Steve's. Because you, going back to Sonder, you have multiple icebergs. You have multiple anthills, whatever you want to call it.
I am just a multitude of anthills.
But so do I.
Right.
Where you stop by and you're in this world of Sweet Fanny Adams Theater. And you are fully invested in that world, and you know things that the rest of us don't see, that we just see on the surface.
Right.
So it's possible that someone recognized you from that world. You were on the radio and you had a very popular show, and it's possible someone recognizes you from that world. And so on and so on.
Yeah. And
Flying Anvil Theater, Oak Ridge Playhouse, go down the list.
And you have that same like multiple icebergs, but I
can tell you once. Remember the people I used to work with. Some other people I used to work with in the morning. I remember one of them got very angry when I was telling a story about how I got recognized at the bank, and it was the bank that was 2 doors down from Side Splitters Comedy Club.
Oh, Side Splitters, they tore down the building and everything.
They did, but there's a bank on that road.
Yes.
And in fact, there's multiple banks on that road, including where we keep our money.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
Don't steal our money.
One of those banks, I went in and they recognized me. And I'm telling the story on the radio about how weird it was, fun and interesting. Yeah. But they recognized me from being in Einstein Simplified, the improv troupe, which performs 3 doors down.
Right there. Okay.
So it made total sense. To me, it makes total sense. And then afterward, turns off the mic. That's baloney. They would recognize you from the radio, not your stupid comedy group. I'm like, no, actually, they see my face.
My whole face hole.
We performed for thousands of people over the years.
I think the thing that I love most about it is that through all of those icebergs, that you are still just a background actor in somebody else's life, and you may just be somebody who walks down a street, someone sitting at Downtown Grill and Brewery on Gay Street, and you and I are walking down the street, and just for that moment, just for that one moment of their entire existence, we just, When
I told you this story, I think, before, but I met my friend Pam Baker, and I were tight friends in Los Angeles because we worked together at KLOS, and she had worked at Disneyland and other radio stations, and she worked with Rick Dees. Well, she worked with a show on Coast FM, and they had flown from Los Angeles to Orlando for the opening of Disney MGM Studios back in 1989. Well, my show, Don and Mike, had flown from Washington down to Orlando for this, and all these DJ shows are all there, and theoretically you would meet and whatnot. Well, I didn't remember meeting anyone from Coast FM at all, even though I was aware that their setup was not far from ours, but we were done around the same time they were starting because of the time difference.
Right.
10 years later.
A whole decade goes
Pam Baker says, yeah, I was at that Disney thing. I was working for Coast FM. I said, yeah, that's funny. They had the setup next to us. And she says, well, I still have my pictures, and she opens up her photo album.
And there you are as a background actor.
And there I am as a background actor in her picture, and we met. We didn't know each other. We weren't going to meet for another 5 years and then become friends 10 years later.
Yeah, and I love the idea that we all impact each other in some weird way or another. I love that even if you're a background actor, someone may go, oh, and you may have an impact on someone, or they may have an impact on you, and you'll never see them or never know them, and you don't know their story.
There's also something that I realized one time about the depth, the iceberg, if you will. When I did Dancing with the Knoxville Stars, right? So then I would go, my friend Emily, my dance partner in that bit, would say, why don't you come to this competition, you can cheer me on, and here's what you do. And they get these noisemakers, and you sit at the table, and all of a sudden you're at a dance competition, a professional dance competition, which is odd, but I'm observing it, and you see all of the depth of it that you didn't realize existed. The professional photographer who's going to take the picture of everyone in front of the backdrop, and another one who takes action shots, and they sell them to you.
Right.
Then there's over here is a place selling shoes and shoe repair for emergency shoe repair, and over here is whatever else, the snack bar, and it's this. To me, I thought, well, this is just like going to a swim meet.
It's a world.
Because at the swim meet, they're selling replacement bathing suits and swim caps and goggles, and there's a guy fixing over here, and there's pictures over here, and there's protein bars over there. It's all the same.
Yeah.
And then my friend Sandy Weaver, who has I talked about Sandy, the beautiful voiceover lady. I know I'm going a mile a minute.
There's so many stories.
This is the last one. She got involved in the world of dog competitions. So she would do show dogs, Siberian Husky show dogs, and then she now is a judge for many different breeds. So she says to me, why don't you come? We were down past Atlanta. I said, can we stop by and say hi? She says, well, I got a dog show. But why don't you come by? It's over in Alpharetta, whatever. So we go, and guess what?
What?
It was the same. They had the pictures of the dogs, the action shots. Yeah. They had the guy selling leashes and cages, and they had the snack bar.
Because everything that's happened will happen again, and everything remains the same. We live in an Ouroboros of life, but all of these crazy different things happen to you. But then it happens again, and then it happens again, and it happens again. For me, I think of when I was the deli meat slice girl when I first moved to Florida.
You should get that on a business card.
And I had no other job, and I was like mid-level agoraphobic with anxiety because I just moved to a whole new place, and I was just a little East Tennessee dum-dum. And but I was like 20. I was 20. And I was terrified. I'd never lived anywhere else except here. I lived in Milwaukee for like a minute when I was
That doesn't
a kid.
count. So this is your first move out on your
Adult.
own. This is you
Away
as a
from home.
independent,
Yeah.
emancipated. Emancipated. You're a 20-year-old. You're an adult.
Yeah, and I got a job at a Latin deli, and I did not speak Spanish. I did not know what yuca was.
See, it would be funny if it was Latin, like Rome.
Oh, yes, it was not. But everyone would come in, and I had to learn all of the Spanish words for what meat I would slice for people. But I think that, there were people that I came into contact with that I will never see again, and they will never see me again. And we have no idea that each other even exists or what their life is like.
But you were in their world for a minute. You were an extra in their...
And, Steve Martin wrote a whole book about Shop Girl. And how life just intertwines and intersects. And they say that on average, each person has 7 loves in their life before they get to their final person. And it may not necessarily be the most romantic love.
Are you talking about people or things?
No, people. And
because I know a lot of people who are in love with things and in love with places and activities. But you're talking about
this is relationships, because this whole thing is a relationship.
Okay.
And you will have 7 meaningful relationships before.
Would those count friendships? Because I don't have to in my case. Cause,
right, and I think that it's on average.
Because I don't have time left for 6 more wives. I'm not. There's just not enough time left in my life.
It's just the meaningful, and so if you kind of look back on your life and how you became to learn to love and learn to be with Jerry or be with that person, and I think I love the idea that there's all these
because I think about the great friendships I've had over the years. I mentioned Pam Baker. She and I were pals, and we would, all the time we worked together. It was almost like they always say you have a work wife or a work husband.
Right.
And now we're obviously work partners, and that's a great friendship. I love doing the show.
So all of that's been really positive. But
here we go.
But then my pessimistic crap brain.
Pull the rug out from under me. Here we go.
My pessimistic crap brain goes, how many people have you met that you have impacted them negatively? So it's great to be a background actor in someone's life, but...
Well, Adam Carolla put in his book that I impacted him negatively.
So there you go. But
I delayed his entry into show business by approximately 48 hours. By my calculations.
But people because I can think of negative interactions with so many people. So there are people that you have come into contact with
who don't like me,
who would not be happy to see you again.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me.
Oh, now, so usually they leave hateful comments.
We gotta go.
No, I'm aware of who they are, for the most part.
But
yeah.
For the ones, the iceberg that you're aware of.
Oh, there's a whole... All right, thanks, Downer. What are you doing? It's the Krisha and Frank Show. Please do subscribe on YouTube.
Thanks, Downer.
And
no,
especially to
great.
Watch tomorrow's show, because I want to see how Krisha digs herself out of this hole.
Oh, gosh.
We're on social media. You can get an Audible 30-day trial at audibletrial.com/Krisha and Frank.
Life is good. Life is good.
Those are the plugs.
Just live your life.
Oh, I forgot to tell you about something I bought.
Oh, jeez.
With our money.
Oh.
I did. I bought it.
All right.
I have it. You're half owner of it.
Yay!
Yeah. We'll tell you more about that in the days ahead. Hey, look for us at the Taco Festival at Cotton Eye Joe this Sunday.
What?
I can't even keep a straight face.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Taco.
Yeah, I committed us to the Taco Festival. It's all day Sunday.
That's
you don't
Thanksgiving.
You have your Thanksgiving on the JFK assassination anniversary?
Well, yeah, that's what they do every year.
Oh, all right.
JFK's dead. Let's eat turkey.
Oh, well, that's when it is. We're having tacos.
Oh.
We have to judge the tacos. Okay, we're done.